Okay, so this video is going to be on the probability, and in particular it's going to be on the basic definitions for probability, and it's part of the OF2 specification. So consider an experiment. For example, if you throw two fair dice and add the numbers together. An outcome, so this is the first definition, well, this is the result or a result of the experiment. Next we have the sample space, and the sample space, which is denoted by S, is the set of possible outcomes. And in this example, the sample space is 2 to 12, because if we add up the lowest two outcomes, which is 1 and 1, we get 2, and the largest outcomes of rolling two sixes is 12. And so we've got two examples of basically experiments and their corresponding sample spaces. So if we throw two coins, the sample space will consist of heads and heads. So rolling two, well, flipping two heads and tails and heads, and tails. So in total, we've got 4 outcomes in our sample space. If we throw two dice, which is the example which I'm kind of going to go over for this tutorial, well, if I do throw two dice, the sample space will consist of, as I said, 2, which is made up of the 1 and the 1, all the way up to 12, which is made up by rolling two sixes. And of course, it will include everything in between. And the total number of outcomes in this sample space is 36. So what I'll do is, I'll write 4 outcomes for this experiment and 36 for this experiment. And we may come back to that later. So, an event, which is the next thing I want to go over, well, an event denoted E is a subset of outcomes in the sample space S. So in this example, E could be the event of getting a 4. So we denote this as E is equal to curly brackets 4. Quite equally, we could get an event where we get a 4 or a 7. So E is equal to 4, 7. And we could even get the event of getting an even number. And we don't have to write things in a list. We could even write them using English. So we can get E is equal to an even number between 2 and 12. And we could have wrote, instead of between 2 and 12, in the sample space S. So just a bit of extra information, an event where we have one part is known as a simple event. So in the example, E is equal to 4, so getting a total of 4. And an event where we have multiple parts is known as a compound event. So in the event where we get a 4 or a 7. So example events for throwing two dice is the throwing two dice example. We'll say, for example, the event in which we get where the sum of the two dice is 12. There's only one outcome for this, and that's where we get a 6 and a 6. And the probability of this is 1 over 36. So why is it 1 over 36? Well, if you remember from the previous video, the probability is the number of desired outcomes divided by the total number of outcomes. The total number of outcomes is the sample space, so there's 36 in the sample space, and the number of desired outcomes, well, there's only one, because it's only when we get a 6 and a 6. So the probability is thus 1 over 36. Similarly, in the event where we have the sum of the two dices equaling 7, well, I've wrote down a list of the outcomes for this. So we've got 1 and 6, 6 and 1, 2 and 5, 5 and 2, 3 and 4, and finally 4 and 3. So there's 6 outcomes for our desired event. So we have 6 over 36, because obviously there's 6 of our desired outcomes and 36 of our in our sample space. And the reason I've just stuttered slightly is because this should not say 1 over 36. This should say 1 over 6, because this simplifies to 1 over 6. So the probability of this is 1 over 6, and I will correct that in my notes. So I hope this video has helped. If it has, feel free to leave a like. If you have any questions or suggestions, just leave a comment down in the comment section below. I have got a website which I'm currently in the process of creating, and the link to that is in the bottom right of this screen right now. So yeah, I hope this has helped, and I'll see you next time.